As we drove through the foothills of the Alps, two small boys stopped us on the outskirts of Verona. They were selling wild strawberries, bright scarlet berries, that looked delicious against the dark green leaves, lining the wicker basket. "Don't buy. You will get fruit much better in Verona. Besides, these boys..." He shrugged his shoulders to convey his disapproval of their shabby appearance. My companion spoke to the boys and discovered that they were brothers. Nicola, the elder, was 13. Jacopo, who barely came up to the door handle of the car, was nearly 12. We bought their biggest basket, then set off to our town. Verona is a lovely city, rich in history, with quiet medieval streets and splendid buildings of an exquisite pale honey color. Romeo and Juliet are reputed to have lived there. Bombed in the recent war, it has lost its bridges, but not its gaiety or charm. Next morning, coming out of our hotel, we drew up short. There, bent over shoeshine boxes beside the fountain, in the public square, doing a brisk business, were our two young friends of the previous afternoon. We watched for a few moments. Then as trade slackened, we went over. They greeted us with friendly faces. "I thought you picked fruit for a living," I said. "We do many things, sir," Nicola answered seriously. He glanced at us hopefully. "Often we show visitors through the town, to Juliet's tomb, and other places of interest." "All right," I smiled. "You take us along." As we made the rounds, my interest was again provoked by their remarkable demeanor. They were childish enough, and in many ways quite artless. Jacopo, although his lips were paler than they should have been, was lively as a squirrel. Nicola's smile was steady and engaging. Yet in both these boyish faces there was a seriousness which one respected, an air of purpose far beyond their years. In the week which followed, we saw them frequently, for they proved extremely useful to us. If we wanted a pack of American cigarettes, or seats for the opera, or the name of a good restaurant that could provide good ravioli, Nicola and Jacopo could be relied upon to satisfy our needs with their usual cheerful competence. What struck one most was their unremitting willingness to work. During these summer days, under the hot sun, and in the long evenings when the air blew chill from the mountains, they shined shoes, sold fruit, hawked newspapers, conducted tourists around the town, ran errands, and exploited every avenue which the troubled economy of the town left open to them. One night, we came upon them in the windy and deserted square, resting on the stone pavement beneath the pale arc lights. Nicola sat upright, his face drawn by fatigue. A bundle of unsold newspapers lay at his feet, while Jacopo, his head pillowed upon his brother's shoulder, was asleep. It was nearly midnight. "Why are you out so late, Nicola?" "Waiting for the last bus from Padua. We shall sell all our papers when it comes in." His tone, while perfectly polite, discouraged further inquiry. But the next morning, when I went over to the fountain to have my shoes shined, I said, "Nicola, the way you and Jacopo work, you must earn quite a bit. You spend nothing on clothes. You eat little enough. When I see you having a meal that's usually black bread and figures tell me, what do you do with your money? You must be saving up to emigrate to America," I suggested. "We should greatly like to go to the States. But here, at present, we have other plans." "What plans?" "Just plans, sir." "Well," I said, "we're leaving on Monday. Is there anything I can do for you before we go?" There was a pause. Nicola was glaring at his young brother in vexation. "We could not think of troubling you, sir." "It won't be any trouble." He bit his lip. Then, in a rather put-out tone, he said, "Very well." The following afternoon we drove to the tiny picturesque village, set high upon the hillside amidst sheltering chestnut groves, with a few pines on the upper slopes, and a deep blue lake beneath. I imagined that our destination would be some humble dwelling. But, directed by Jacopo's shrill treble, I could scarcely believe my eyes, and before I could recover breath, my two passengers had leaped nimbly from the car. I found a grilled side entrance and rang the bell. A pleasant-looking woman in a nurse's uniform appeared. I just brought 2 small boys here.
Ah, yes.
Her face lit up.
Nicola and Jacopo? I will take you up.
She led me to a hospital. There, in a small cubicle, sat the boys at the bedside of a girl of about 20, their sister Lucia, who was suffering from tuberculosis of the spine. The nurse revealed their tragic past. Their father, a singer, had died in the war. Their home was bombed, and they had barely survived. They joined the resistance, carrying messages to the liberation forces. After the war, they worked tirelessly to pay for Lucia's treatment. Their selfless devotion touched me deeply. Despite hardships, they carried themselves with dignity, proving that war had not broken their spirit. Their story is a testament to the resilience of the human spirit, love, and sacrifice.